Hey, Applove, Alex here. God is dead, and we killed him. Or did we? Nah, I'm joking. Of course we did. Or they've abandoned us and probably won't be returning anytime soon. Either way, someone has to rise up and take their spot, right? Plenty of people want that crown, and will do what they can to get to it. If you want it, then you'll have to take it. But once you do, will it even be worth it? Welcome to my 5th Roseblight devlog video. Wow, 5 videos. I started off this series with a claim that I'm entering my descent into madness. And at this point, I'm just trying to get the impression that I haven't really descended at all. And I've been mad the whole time. Sometimes I sit back and think, what the hell's wrong with me? Am I crazy? Am I stupid? Gullible? Naive? And the answer to those questions is don't think about it. So I try not to. As you can guess by the intro, this devlog is focused on the 3rd optional party member that I just added, which is Jamethon. I'm also going to be going over the rest of the skills that will be available to the other party members. I would like to point out that this video will have some spoilers for the game, so feel free to skim along the slidey bar thingy underneath me or click the timestamps in the description to skip certain parts if you would like. There are currently 6 playable characters in Roseblight. You have Blite, Marmot, Zero, Qrystal, Blindsight, and now Jamethon. The first 3 are essential to the plot, and the others are optional. I'm going to go over the characters again and sort of explain them a bit and what their abilities will be. The only one that I'm not going to discuss is Zero, because her skills aren't really ready yet, and I also kind of want to save them as a surprise. Starting off with the new guy, Jamethon is the push block guy that you encounter in the Silver Ruins. You can talk to him at a certain point just to sort of understand what his deal is. Basically, he got trapped in a Sokoban block after dying in the puzzle he was a part of, and has been filed as a missing person for the past little while. When I first added this guy, he was supposed to be just like a character you meet once and never meet again. But over time, he just sort of like grew on me. I felt the same way about Qrystal and ended up making her a playable character, so I guess I'm doing the same thing here. His first 2 abilities are Groovy Tunes and Jazzy Tunes, which both increase party member offense and defense respectively. These are currently the only 2 skills that directly provide buffs for other party members. His 3rd skill is Push Block, which allows him to revert back to his push block form and temporarily increases defense significantly, in exchange for not being able to move. I was planning on giving this ability to Blite and having it be called Chainmail, where you apply Pausa to yourself, but I decided to give it to Jamethon instead. The 4th ability is called Sokoban Slide, where he reverts back to his push block form and slides forward and has a defense boost as well. This can be used as a longer version of Marmot's dash without the dodging. Imagine you could use this to like charge into battles or slide past bad guys if you don't feel like dealing with them. I guess sort of like an off-script tangent, but when I first added this, I was like, whoa, look at my boys sliding, whoa, look at him go, woo. I was just like cracking up. I love this. Slidey boy. So those are the only 4 skills that Jamethon will have, and I think I'm going to keep it that way. I've decided to descope some of the other characters as well, so everything you see from this point forward will be it. All of their abilities. Spoiler warning. So, starting off with Blite. Their abilities are the most plentiful out of everyone else, and that's because they're the main character and stuff like that. The abilities that are currently in the game that they have are Watered Down, Water Splash, Trowel Split, Kusari Trowel, Pausa, and Soul Shift. I removed the Examine ability when I added the real-time combat and replaced it with like an automatic system, and I've decided to add it back in instead of, just to make it a little more engaging. The line of sight mechanic that you see is something that I stole from another game called Scrabdackle, in development by my good friend Jake Brent. When observing an enemy, to keep them like in your line of sight for a little bit, and once the circle thingy fills up, it'll reveal their health, how many actions they have, and will record their info in the Aokipedia. So the second tier is Pausina for Blake, and Pausana for Knight. This is basically Pausa with increased range and a longer freeze duration. I would just like to point out that Pausa is no longer a super close range ability and has a much larger range and will basically hit everything that's near you. But it has a fall off effect, so enemies that are further away from you will be frozen for less. Pausana has a shorter duration than Pausina, but it deals damage to enemies. The third tier is Pausadina and Pausadana, which is the maximum power of the Chain Soul. They both reach the entire room and don't have the drop-off effect that I just mentioned. For Blake it lasts 10 seconds, and for Knight it lasts 5. The last ability that they have is Chain Link. This is based off of a jam game that I just made, which was created for GMTK 2021. Chain Link sends out the non-active soul forward, and if there's an open space, then the two of them will switch places. And the previously active soul will attack and then vanish. Basically, you can travel through walls now. And I know that's probably going to break stuff, but at this point, I don't really care, so go nuts. So up next, we have Qrystal, who has 2 new abilities. The first one is Bullet Magnet, which attracts and nullifies any nearby bullets. The Loot Magnet ability, which was renamed to Magnesia and was renamed back to Loot Magnet, now decreases enemy attacks that are nearby, along with taking their money. Qrystal's second new ability is Flamethrower, where she whips out a can of nondescript body spray and lights it on fire, creating a DIY flamethrower. Figured since she has a lighter already, I might as well give her another fire-based attack. Next we have Blindsight, who only has 1 new ability, but has a major change to a currently existing one. Blindsight can now gouge an enemy's eyes out, which will temporarily cause bleeding and will permanently blind them. Just a friendly reminder that this is not a kid's game. Blindsight's blind ability has also gotten an upgrade, where instead of a short-range attack, it now allows Blindsight to revert to their true OG form, and blinding and damaging everything nearby. This also grants you super armor, so you won't flinch no matter what when using this. I also just want to point out that the blind status effect doesn't prevent an enemy from attacking. It just means that they can't see you and won't chase after you. And now, last but certainly not least, is our homeboy Marmot. Marmot has 4 new abilities now, which in total equals to 7. The first 2 abilities are Rosestorm Alpha and Rosestorm Omega. Marmot uses Rosestorm Alpha in his boss fight, so it's basically just that. Rosestorm Omega is the same thing, but with more projectiles and with a much larger radius. Both of these attacks are extremely inaccurate, but they are pretty powerful if you do hit something. I wouldn't rely on them for direct attacks. The third new ability is Rose Bomb. If you're one of the 3 people who played Buckward 2, you'll probably recognize this. It's a large bomb that, after a few seconds, explodes and sends a bunch of bullets everywhere in a ring pattern. Never hurts to have a giant bomb at your disposal. Marmot's last ability, which is the most powerful direct attack in the whole game, is Crown Rose. Crown Rose has the same line of sight mechanic that Examine does, except it's much longer, and for good reason. If you do manage to attack something with this, Marmot will fire a single bullet that deals septuple damage. That's right, 7 times damage. But wait, it gets better. Any critical hits that you land with this attack will deal exactly 7,777 damage, ignoring defense. Have fun! Zero aside, these are going to be all of the abilities that will be in the game. When I first started working on Roseblight, I planned on having like a bunch of different abilities that you can customize with each party member and would have interactions and synergies if you had certain ones equipped and all that jazz. Oh, how naive I was back then, not knowing how much work goes into making a single ability. But acknowledging your weaknesses and mistakes is how we grow as people. I know I've definitely grown as an individual over the course of this game's development, for better or for worse. I actually really enjoy coming up with unique skills to give each of the characters. And if I decide to add more playable characters in the future, I will definitely try to come up with some more fun and unique ones. Well, that's all I have for today. I've been making some pretty steady progress on the game so far. So, that like button better be blue and that subscribe button better be gray, or else I will personally come to your house and I will click those buttons for you. I'm dead serious. Y'all take care now, and thank you for accompanying me on my descent into madness.